KFAN.
Want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN program? Make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Brian text line. Let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. Standard message and data rates apply.
Couple 13-14 pastime. Common. He's 10 of B. Hour number 1 is in the books. We start hour number 2 as always with 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Brought to you by Willow River Company.
Question number 1.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shot a hit, hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
The Twins blew an early 4-0 lead and an 8-6 loss to the Orioles yesterday in Baltimore as the O's took 2 of 3 in the series. Bailey Ober surrendered a 3-run homer. Then Mick Abel gave up 5 runs on 8 hits and 4 walks in 3 1/3 innings. Royce Lewis did, though, hit a home run for a second consecutive game. Common, what sticks out to you from the Twins' opening series in Baltimore?
Royce has got to calm down. When he hit the solo home run, you would have thought it was, we'll see you tomorrow night. Honestly, I mean, he was, and I get it, it's youthful enthusiasm, and I know he's had the struggles with the slumps, but it's like, it's a solo home run to tie a game 3 of the 2026 season, you know, but he was excited. Again, well, the other thing is, what's the Abel kid's first name?
Mick.
He's unable, is really what he is. Mick unable. He only pitched because...
Is that how his ancestors...
Yeah. They shorten their names, he's now Nick Abel. His name was Unable, is what they shorten their name, much like they did with, remember Matt Capps? When they come to the new country, they shorten their names. His name back in the old country was Caps Off Another Loss. But I'm a punster. Thanks. What was I going to say?
His name was actually Mick Abel to allow crooked numbers in any inning.
Well, that's it. That's exactly what it was. I like that, Timmy. Well done. He was in the game because it was a scheduled relief appearance. Because with 2 days off in the first 6 games, apparently he wasn't going to get his chance to start or something. What? When did they start doing stuff like that? You're overthinking it, man, I think.
Can't they just simulate bullpen sessions or something?
I would have thought, but he just got lit up. They couldn't hold a lead if they ever had a lead. They left the bases loaded how many times yesterday? I think twice in the last 3 innings. They had the bases loaded, nobody out.
They got a lot of LOBs.
Yeah, left arm. Lewis hits the home run. The next 3 guys all walk and nobody scores. And then, he kept giving up runs. It's going to be a long season. I don't think the bullpen
And this one wasn't even the bullpen.
No, this wasn't even the bullpen.
Our 2 starters.
Yeah. There's just trouble brewing, I think, but who knows? Because game 2, that was kind of how you draw it up. 4-1 win, a couple of timely hits, some quality pitching, and you're thinking maybe this is. And then they had the lead yesterday, and they let it get away. Weren't they up 3 or 4-0 yesterday?
4-0 early.
4-0 early. It's like those are games you want to put away. But you know what, Tennessee? Nothing's for sure in Major League Baseball. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. They're on pace now. What's 1-2 over 362 games?
Over 162 games?
I don't know what that would be, but
Man, you're going to put me in my math to the test here. Because 162 does divide into 3. So you will be able to actually get a real percentage there.
Okay. Probably sort of what the odds makers thought they would be, winning about 70-some games at the most. So it's.
I think it would be, if my math is correct, 54. That'd be 108?
Yeah, it sounds
54 and 108
so,
is what they're on pace.
Even worse than what the odds makers thought, but we'll have to just wait and see.
Question number 2.
It's time now to consider the course.
Gary Woodland won the Texas Children's Open yesterday, weeks after he publicly revealed his ongoing battle with PTSD, which stemmed from a 2023 brain surgery. Woodland earned his 5th PGA Tour win, and the victory means he will qualify for the 2026 Masters. He failed to earn an invitation last year, missing the first major championship of the season for the first time since 2016. He shot 21 under par for the tournament in Houston, winning by 5 shots over Nikolai Højgaard. Common, your thoughts on Woodland with the win?
I saw bits and pieces of it. He was exceptional. Striking his irons brilliantly, driving the ball. Apparently, he can drive it as far as anybody on the PGA Tour. They swapped out his shafts. He went back to shafts he was using 5 years ago. And yeah, he had some kind of brain surgery, he had a brain lesion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was, and so yeah, it's a great story, you know. Do you believe?
Have you read up on that? I didn't until today.
Yeah.
Like the amount of stuff he has gone through personally.
Yes.
It's not just having a brain surgery. It was the lesion was on the part of the brain that deals with anxiety and fear. And like he would wake up in the middle of the night thinking he was going to fall off. Like it sounds like it's amazing that you could not only go through life with that, but then also try to golf.
Yeah.
Which is the hardest of all the mental sports mentally. And even he's acknowledging he was having issues in this tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and not trying to do a pun here, but it's mind over matter is really what it was, is to be able to fight through it like that. And so it's a great story. And I remember when he won back, did you say 2019 when he won the U.S. Open at Pebble?
I don't think I said that, but I believe that is correct.
I think it was like 2019 when he won at Pebble Beach. And so, yeah, it's a great story. He gets to play in the Masters. So, yeah, good for Gary Woodland. But he turned it into a rout, too. You see, he could not miss. And he said it was like a home game. The crowd was on his side. Everybody was cheering for him. So, yeah, it's one of those, it's a feel-good story for sure, no doubt.
Question number 3.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the welfare of the Wolves.
Without Anthony Edwards, Jade McDaniels, and Ayo Dosunmu lost to the Detroit Pistons 109-87 Saturday at Target Center. Dante DiVincenzo led the team with 22 points. The team committed 15 turnovers, and their 87 points were the Wolves' second lowest total of the season, and their 31.8% from the field was their worst of the year. Julius Randle had just 11 points on 2 of 13 shooting, and Naz Reid was just 3 for 15 for 8 points. Common, any reason to be concerned about Saturday's lackluster offense?
I've decided the team might not be better without Anthony Edwards, and I'd suggested maybe he'd come off the bench. I think they need him back in the starting lineup as soon as they can. They've been a mess for most of the year, really. I know their records. They got a good record. They're right now. Where are they sitting if the playoffs started today? Are they a 4 seed, 3, 5, whatever it is? I mean, they're not a bad. It just I don't understand. I just don't understand the league. A number of people have tried to insist, and tried to.
They're in the 5 spot right now, but they're tied with Houston.
Okay, a number of people have tried to convince me, that it's not just the Wolves that have this Jekyll and Hyde type of aura about them, or personality, that a lot of the teams are like this. You win games, you're maybe not supposed to. You lose games, you're supposed to. It's like you have load management, guys. Just injuries, the whole thing. And I just But, I've talked all year, and it's not just this year, it was even last, just the quotes that come out of the locker room about lack of effort, and Gobert had to call the team out earlier, and the coach called the team. He had to call Randall out publicly for the first time, and I just don't know if all that being said, they'll make postseason play, and then who knows? They got to the Western Conference Finals the last 2 years. I don't know how easy it is to just turn it on and off like a switch, but I don't know what to make of the team. I got to be honest with you. I don't know what to expect. They could go anywhere from being bounced in the first round to get in the NBA Finals, I guess, but I don't have a lot of high hopes. I still do think there's something to being on a roll late in the year and momentum, and I think that's with all sports. I mean, it's not there's not a law. It's you can struggle. We've seen teams. Didn't the Frost, their 2 championship years, finish the season 0-5 or 0-6? They were just playing awful hockey. Do I remember that correctly? And then they win the championship. The Wolves. Was it last year they went on a roll? Was it? Yeah, when Randall got back. They went on a roll. They made a deep run. They got to the Western Conference Finals again. This year, they're doing sort of, it's the opposite. They're not on any kind of a roll, and maybe they'll get to the postseason, and they'll get to the Western Conference Finals again. But I don't have a lot of hope for them. I got to be honest.
Question number 3.
Time now for an in-depth look at the state of hockey.
In the state of hockey.
Yeah, not the state of cocky right now. It is the state of hockey. The Wild have dropped 6 of their past 9 games after losing 6-3 in Boston on Saturday. Kirill Kaprizov, Matt Zuccarello, Ryan Hartman all scored for the Wild, who finished the month of March with a 6-6-2 record. Common, is it panic or patience time right now for you with the Minnesota Wild?
I think I feel the same way about the Wild as I do about the Wolves. I don't know what to expect anymore. They started out the season. I get my seasons confused. Didn't we have a slow start this year and then went on a tear? We've been as good as any team.
We had a bad October.
Yeah, and we were the best team and as good as any team in hockey. We're top 5 in the power rankings. And then we hit this, I don't know what it is, slump, lull. I can't figure it out. And I think you've sort of said this, and I think a lot of other people have, is when you've got they really can't move up or down in the playoffs. They're going to probably play Dallas no matter what. Whether they pass Dallas, they're still going to have to face Dallas. They would just get the home ice advantage if they were able to. And if it's just human nature to lose a little bit of your zest for each night, I don't know if it's that or not, or if other teams are desperate, or if guys are. I don't know. I can't figure it out, but I don't know what to expect with the Wild. And I guess that's what makes sports is your whole life just sports interesting. Is we have the 2 winter sports teams are both going to make postseason play, but I generally you sort of have a feel for what the team is going to do or what their potential is, and I don't know what it is for either club right now. I got to be honest with you. Maybe we can talk more about that.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 questions.
Well,
actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
Yes, and 534 is brought to you by our friends at Willow River Company. Don't forget about the Willow River experience. You can boondelay and save. You could do 5 of this, 3 of that, 4 of that, and the next thing you know, you're doing a little 5, 3, 4. It's the outdoor service subscription plan. You can find out more at willowriverexperience.com, willowriverexperience.com. Other side of the break, Tenneby's been nominated for a PST, but I'm going to defend him. Normally, I'd like to just jump on and pile on.
It's very unlike you.
But I think I tend to agree with you on this, and so we'll take a look at that next. Common Man program on the Fan.
KFAN celebrates our $5,000 teacher winners in iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher powered by Donors Choose. There's still time to nominate a public school teacher making a difference. They could be next to win $5,000 to make over their classroom. Do it now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
Couple 13-14 pastime. Common. He's 10B. Here's a text that came into the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line. It says, way to find neutral ground in the wild to keep the basketball people off your back. I love it. Keep up the great work. That's what I do. I try to keep the wolves at bay. To be honest, I can't figure out either club, and I really don't want to. I'll just let the chips fall where they may, to use some poker parlance. Tenneby, you got nominated for PST. It says PST, golf is the hardest sport mentally. It is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Here's what I tell people all the time. Hockey, baseball, football, basketball. Most sports are just reactionary, right? Like in baseball, it's here's the pitch, swing, right? Ground ball. Either pick it up or don't pick it up. Track down a fly ball. Hockey, pass, bing, bang, boom, puck luck, right? Football, snap the ball, run, go, what sport did I leave out? Did I do basketball? Yeah, basketball, same thing. Football, the whole thing, okay? Golf, that's what I tell people. People don't think it, people always say the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball, hogwash. Hardest thing to do in sports is hit a golf ball accurately. Because you got all the time in the world. Take your time. Throw some grass up in the air. Switch clubs. Talk to your caddy. And then go up there and try to hit a knockdown, punch, cut, fade, draw on command. It's mentally taxing. 4 to 4.5 hours out there. It's just the hardest sport mentally. There's no one will convince me of anything else. I guess maybe if you consider, I don't consider chess a sport, but chess is, that's mentally taxing. And another one would be auto racing, because now I know that's a little bit reactionary too, swerving in and out, doing this, that. But that's your grip to a wheel going 200 miles an hour. That's going to be mentally challenging. But golf is a very difficult sport mentally. I think you're absolutely right.
And if you don't agree that you don't play golf.
Well, that's it.
You haven't played golf.
That's exactly right. You just haven't played golf.
Not to mention, and I do think baseball specifically is a taxing mental sport because everything's on you, and there's a lot of confidence involved in baseball. But in baseball, you can make mistakes and still be successful.
That's correct.
You can swing and a miss. You can swing and a miss again. You can have 3 at-bats and then have a great 4th at-bat. Golf, one mistake can ruin your entire round.
We talked about the Twins. They lose a 2 of 3 to start the season against the Orioles. They're on pace to go 54 and 108. We also tend to be I received an email from somebody that we are right now on pace to break the major league record for the most strikeouts by a team in a season. And guess what? We already hold that record. So we got that going for us, which is nice. You know how I am. If you can't be historically good, then you may as well be biblically bad. But we'll take a look at that, a deeper look at that a little bit later. But Bobby Nightingale, Twins beat writer, Fish Wrap Factory West Side, wrote a piece today about yesterday's game. Twins' Derek Shelton becomes first major league manager ever ejected over strike zone challenge. It's never happened before because this is the first year we've had it. He's the first one. And apparently he joked before the game. He said, well, I won't be the first manager ejected because somebody I think it was the Cincinnati Redlegs manager got ejected the game before, the night before or the day before on Saturday. And then Shelton gets... here's what it says. It says, his Boston manager says, before the Twins played Sunday, Derek Shelton quipped he wouldn't be the first manager ejected from a game this year. Boston manager Alex Cora was tossed from a game at Cincinnati the previous day, so Cincinnati was involved. It took Shelton only a few more hours before his first ejection as the Twins manager put his name in the record books. Shelton was the first major league manager ejected for dispute over the strike zone challenge system. Specifically, he thought Baltimore Orioles closer Ryan Helsley was late when he tapped his head to initiate a challenge after plate umpire Chris Siegel called ball on a full count pitch to Josh Bell. Helsley's challenge overturned the slider into a called third strike, a pitch that clipped the outside of the strike zone. Now, Helsley himself said, because he tapped his helmet, he said, well, here's what Shelton said. I didn't think Helsley tapped his cap quick enough. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but I didn't feel like he did. I feel like it's got to be something within 3 seconds, and I didn't think it was there. Now, here's what, there was a quote from Helsley. He told the Baltimore Sun, I understood where Shelton was coming from because I felt like the umpire didn't see me right away, so I was kind of confused. Laz behind me, that's nickname for one of the players, Laz behind me took up for him. He was like, he did it right away, which I know we're probably going to go through some growing pains with this since it's so new. I think we saw that today. I can respect Shelt for trying not to get him to do it there because it did seem like it was a little long in that moment. And I was watching that. I hate admitting that on a beautiful sunshiny day at 65 degrees, I was inside watching Twins baseball, but I was going back and forth between cleaning the car and watching the game because it was an interesting ball game. I don't want to go as far as to say fascinating, but because there were a lot of blunders in the game, there was a lot of shifting of momentum, and I kind of got caught up in the whole thing. And as I mentioned, this is what it says. This is the first season MLB hitters, catchers, and pitchers are permitted to challenge an umpire's balls and strike calls. The Twins and Orioles combined for 10 challenges Sunday with 7 successful overturned calls. And most of those seem to be against the Twins. Because the Twins, on 3 occasions I saw for sure late in the game, had what would have been called a ball four, called a ball that would have issued a walk. And in each case, it was challenged. And when they went to the challenge, it showed that it was a strike. So the Twins I don't consider that getting jobbed. But it is amazing how different that game ended up. Had they not been doing the challenge system, I don't know this for a fact. I think the Twins win that ball game, and they would have won it with incorrect calls. I'm a challenge guy. I've always liked instant replay in sports. I know it can get to be a little much sometimes. Football, especially basketball too. Especially basketball is already with fouls at the end of a game, right? The last 2 minutes of a basketball game can be longer than the entire game took to get to that point sometimes, or at least it feels that way. And so I can understand why some people, because now they're doing like, who did the ball last touch as it was going out of bounds? And it's hard to tell. You got 6 guys, which would be 12 hands, all reaching for a ball, in whose fingertip did it touch last? But I still like getting it right. But in this case, the umpire, 7 out of 10 were overturned. And I'll tell you what, the pitcher did signal right away. He touched his head.
I watched the video, but I had no problem with.
Yeah, he touched his head right away.
And the call was right, so I don't know what Shelton's so upset about.
Well, that's it. I think what Shelton was upset about is because he thinks he knew that was a turning point in the game, I think, and he was thinking it wasn't, because he had to signal a second time. Yeah. But he did signal the first time. He was spot on with it, and the umpire must not have seen it. And then Shelton got tossed from the game, and I don't know. When sometimes guys get tossed from games just to fire up a team. I don't think that was the case here. I think he really felt like I think it was just the Twins were letting one get away, a game that they probably should have won, and they didn't.
I'm glad you liked the challenge system, because I talked about it when I saw him at the Saints game, and I felt like you were a little hesitant with it.
Well, I think that I don't recall exactly what my hesitancy was. Probably old school guy.
Just technology in general.
The technology in general. I think
they get it done pretty quickly.
Yeah,
it doesn't slow down too much.
I don't think I was really so much against it as I thought if you're going to do it. See, when I thought the whole idea of this thing, that's why I should pay closer attention, I guess. I thought the whole idea was they were going to have a home plate umpire who in his ear would be told immediately that every single pitch was going to be called by this video system, right? Because apparently it's spot on and it's instantaneous. And so I thought I'd rather do that than just the whole challenge idea. But it sure worked yesterday. to the advantage of of Baltimore, to the disadvantage of the Twins for the most part. Though you can't complain because when they switched the calls, they were getting it right. We'll pause and come back. We got more to get to here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Be at the next big game or concert? Oh, we're giving away tickets to the Wild, Santana, the Doobie Brothers, Chris Stapleton, and plenty more. Enter today at KFAN.com. Keyword contest.
Couple 13-14 past, I'm Common. He is Tennessee. If as the rest of the show progresses, if I tend to sound a little grouchy and irritable, is because I couldn't eat lunch today.
Oh.
And it's all because the microwave messer-upper guy or gal decided not to clean up after themselves. Talked about it earlier in our renovation. Our microwave has been moved all the way down to the other end of the building. So it's a bit of a sprint to, if you got a couple different things. I got a microwave. I want to time it out just right. So I have a hot, nutritious meal to get me through the show. And so I noticed before I went on the air that the glass plate inside the microwave was sitting outside of it. I looked inside and it looked like something exploded in there. I took a little bit of a bigger deep dive, Tennessee. First of all, I think it does have to be somebody on the weekend and not today. And I'll tell you why. Today, I used the microwave on Friday at 1 o'clock and it was fine. Okay. So and there's no salespeople here. Then nobody's here. It's empty. The only other people that come in after are big ticket. But he eats lunch prior to going on the air, and I don't think. And Brett Blakemore, same thing. So, and then I looked at whatever's in there is so dry. It doesn't seem like it could have been from this morning. I suppose it could have, but it seems like it was pretty hardened. I also taking a deeper dive in my investigation, I opened the door and took a whiff. It smells like chocolate.
Really?
So I don't know if it was hot chocolate was put in there or if some French silk pie, some pumpkin pie, some banana cream pie, but something was put in there that exploded. And this person decided, well, I'll let somebody else clean up after me.
Yeah.
I don't have the time or the energy to do it or whatever reason they didn't do it. And I will not rest until I find out who that is. Actually, I probably won't, but nonetheless.
Well, if it is chocolate, I mean, what else is it other than hot chocolate? What else chocolate related are you putting in the microwave?
Well, that's it. That's what I would think. So I don't think I've ever heard of chocolate soup, but I suppose that's possible as well. Esteemed columnist.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, it does sound good. Esteemed columnist, Fish Wrap Factory West Side, Jim Suhan wrote a piece today. Sports is about great performances, but boneheaded plays are what we remember. And I think he's talking about something that happened in the Twins game. The Twins had some boneheaded base running incidents yesterday. Byron Buxton was one of them. He rounded second too far, didn't think the throw was going to come behind him, and he was caught dead to rights off second base. And there were two others, apparently. I did not see the entire game, but I saw bits and pieces of it. In the sub-headline, whatever it's called, it says, Fred Hoiberg joined the club last week when the Nebraska coach had only 4 men on the floor in a Sweet 16 loss to Iowa. So he talks about that. And then, as I say, he talks about left fielder Austin Martin made an unforgivable mental mistake with runners on first and third. He caught a fly on the left field line and lobbed the ball to third base. The runner on first tag, he moved second, and later scored the winning run. All Martin had to do was look at second base, and the runner would not have advanced. So that was certainly an egregious error that you don't want to see. But on the Hoiberg thing, Tennessee, I think if for those that recall, it was in the game against Iowa, coming out of a timeout, Nebraska only had 4 players on the court. And they did a long, one-handed down-court inbounds pass from under Iowa did, from underneath their own basket. Kid was wide open, got the ball, laid it up, and they ended up winning the game. Do you you think Hoiberg threw himself under the bus so the kid wouldn't catch a bunch of heat for that? Because that's one of those things. If you're, like 12 men on the field, I mean, this is 4 men on the court. This just doesn't happen very often. And it was literally the reason they lost the game, or certainly there are other factors. I mean, you can go from the opening tap all the way to the end of the game, and there are things that, if you could change certain things, certain decisions that are made, poor plays, great plays can always change the outcome of a game. But the deeper you get into the game and it's still close, those mistakes or big plays end up becoming more important, or they weigh more heavy on it. And you know how, have you seen the commercials that the NCAA is running now about, because with social media now and people betting on games, college players, pro players, they're getting death threats from people because I lost money because you blew a play, right? Yeah. So the kid that was supposed to be on the floor, I think was his last name is Mast. I can't pronounce his first name. Ranky, right? I think he's from Holland. He's a Dutchman. I think maybe he just was, his wooden clogs didn't allow him to get back on the court quick enough. Okay, that was a failed attempt. Humor, thank you. Do you think it's possible that that's not on Hoiberg? The kid was supposed to be on the court and just for some reason didn't go out there.
Like, it's probably likely.
That's what I'm thinking. And Hoiberg is thinking to himself, I'm going to be the fall guy for this kid, because this, I mean, if it was the kid's fault, that's going to haunt him for. It was like when Doug Sanders missed a 3-foot putt to get to the Open Championship. They said, he was asked once, do you think about that putt off? And he says, not really, just every 5 minutes. So,
genius.
Yeah, it's genius line. So this kid's probably going to think about it for a long time. If it was indeed, now maybe it was Hoiberg. I mean, the coach is ultimately responsible.
It's possible it's someone on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
If they could have made a mistake. I mean, if the kid, he was on the court previously before the timeout, correct? So you are staying on the court unless someone checks you out. So unless it's possible, when maybe they're drawing up a plan, maybe whether it's Hoiberg or the assistant coach, maybe just said the wrong name accidentally, or maybe they said, "Hey, this player's going to check in for you," and that player screwed up and didn't check in. I mean, ultimately, whether the kid screwed up or not, someone on your coaching staff should notice you have 4 players on the court before the ball gets thrown.
And maybe that's why Hoiberg is taking the high road and saying it's on me, I'm the head coach, which at the end of the day, it is on the head coach. That's like anytime we make a mistake, it's on Abbott. I mean, he's the program director. Yeah. It's not our fault.
And if we do really, really well, it's us.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah.
How about this? Common, the Power Trip had Dairy Queen this morning. Got any possible suspects?
Oh my gosh.
They're heating up there.
Morning show had a bunch of Dairy Queen treats there this morning. Just saying. And I did notice there is a cardboard box that has been collapsed, a cardboard box that's used for packing. And it did say Dairy Queen on it.
Well, even by that microwave that you were looking at today, there's a bunch of those red Dairy Queen spoons that you can tell are different, not only because of the color, but they're longer and skinnier.
Sure. So my guess is, and I'm going to throw out what might end up being a baseless accusation, somebody with the morning show. Of course, it's hard to narrow it down. There's like 40 people on the show every day. But my guess is it was somebody from the Power Trip Morning Show. I don't know what you would be heating, unless it was one of those, because like on a Billy Buster parfait, whatever, you have melted hot chocolate on there. If somebody put it in there to heat the chocolate back up, which would be really stupid, because that would also melt the ice cream.
Maybe it's someone from Dairy Queen that did it. During the commercial break, I'm going to go take a look in the microwave and investigate.
Well, that's what I'm, and again, it sounds like it's Power Trip Morning Show related. This one says Max and Blakemore were the last ones in there yesterday. It was one of them.
They were on the air yesterday. Doesn't mean it was the last one, though.
Yeah. Well, that's absolutely. And this does
Saturday, you get in the zone, beyond the pond.
Here's another one. The morning show had ice cream and blizzards this morning.
Well, why would that be in a microwave?
Well, I don't know, because they were maybe doing a wacky morning show bit. I wouldn't put it past somebody on the morning show, because there are many times, and Abbott never had this discussion. It doesn't make Abbott very happy either. The morning show will do their Friday initials game thing, and there'll be 25 chairs in here that have been jammed in here.
Yep.
There'll be empty coffee cups and what are those power drinks people drink with all the
Monster Energy?
Yeah, Monster, Red Bulls, all around. It's like they don't clean up after themselves, because
They just leave all the chairs in there.
Well, yeah, because I'm assuming we're the power trip. We're the only thing that matters here at the radio station. We don't have to do. Go ahead. What are you going to do? Fire us? I think they get that type of attitude. That's all I can assume. Do you think it's meat sauce? I don't think he knows how to operate a microwave. That's the thing. See, that's why I don't think it's meat sauce. But I think it's someone involved at the morning show, and I don't know who was in today. Do we know who comes in on Mondays? Is that a Lieber thing?
I didn't listen this morning, but usually it's Lieber Muss, I believe, are in the Monday mornings. Obviously, Zach is a candidate.
Okay. And, at this point, they're probably not going to fess up, but shouldn't they just admit to it and just say, that was me and I apologize and I'll come in and I'll clean it up, or we'll never let it happen again?
We demand an apology.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's literally you've
impacted the entire company.
Well, that's it. You've imposed upon me. I couldn't eat my lunch today because I can't use the microwave. I'm not going to clean it out, but I'll probably end up having to. It's like it's hard enough cleaning up after your kids. Do you know when they're young, you're always cleaning up after them all the time?
I'm well aware of that.
Yeah, you're well aware of that.
It's nonstop.
That's one thing, but meat sauce ain't one of my kids.
I had 2 laundry baskets in the living room yesterday, and Leo goes, "Didn't you just do laundry?" I'm like, "Yep, it's nonstop."
Yeah, it's nonstop.
We never have a living room without laundry baskets in here.
Calling for the abolishment of the construction at 1600 Utica Avenue South. This made you come back late several times from break, and now this microwave fiasco. That's enough. I agree. It's affected.
I always love that
It's
one.
affected what we do here on the air day in and day out.
So is the fridge still usable? I thought for a while we couldn't use the fridge.
I think it's usable, and I think the rule with the refrigerator is you can't just, because we had 2 of them, and poor Emily would have to send out an email like about once every
Just
month.
keep stuff in there.
Yeah, to say, please, we're going to clean the refrigerator again. Could you please remove? People would just bring. What is wrong with people? They'll bring something in, put it in the refrigerator, and then just leave it there. Maybe intending to eat it at some time, but it's in there. There's mold.
Oh, they're in there for
growing.
weeks.
Yeah, they're just there for weeks on end. And if you want to do that at your own home, knock yourself out, right? But when you have shared workspaces in lunch areas with people.
Do you want me to really go down the pet peeve when it comes to the refrigerator? This is so minute and minuscule, but I'm going to complain about it. Yeah.
Okay, tell me. No, it's not.
As you're aware, I always come with like a big lunchbox.
Yes, you do.
Every day, right?
Yeah.
And you go to a refrigerator, there's different layers. Some spaces, some shelves have more space.
Yes.
Some have less space. And people will put small things where the big space is. And it's like, can we not have the foresight to realize some people might need to put the big things up here and let's put the small stuff where the smaller shelves are? Why can't we think about that?
It's because people only think about themselves.
It's not that tough.
If more people like us, you and I think of our fellow man, fellow woman, and our coworkers, I think more than anybody else. I just think that's
like when I'm at home, I can't put the milk jug inside of the veggie drawer. It doesn't fit.
No.
So think about others that might have bigger things than you in there.
Well,
smaller things than you.
Here's what I did today. I guess I could eat my olives because I don't have to microwave those. But I took the olive container, and I knew Deuce was going to be maybe making leftovers for lunch. So instead of keeping the olive container, because it's those deli olives, it's not a jar, you get them at the deli that my wife picks up. Instead of keeping that in front of the turkey black bean chili, I took the black bean chili out, put the olives behind that, and then so that if Deuce wanted, he wouldn't have to move the olives, the little tiny. Those are the things you do as a fellow human being to help others out. Thinking about others instead of just yourself.
Why can't everyone be unselfish like us?
I don't know. The microwave thing is really... So now, do you remember I threatened to I have a microwave down in the man grotto that I've never used. I've just never used it. It's there. Yeah. It's a smaller one. I'm going to have to bring that in here into the radio station.
Put it in your office.
That's still a long way to run down to.
Yeah.
But I could store it there and bring it back up here.
You put it in here.
And keep it.
But then you need to think of your fellow coworkers. You can't have something that's going to smell up the room.
Yeah. Well, but not just that. If I bring it in here, somebody will stick a dilly bar in there and it'll explode. So what's the difference? They'll just use it. Oh, somebody brought it in a microwave, and they'll let it explode, and they'll ask somebody else to clean it up. My stomach's growling. Can you hear it? Let me see if I can put the microphone down by my stomach. Well, it's not growling now. It's not growling now. You know when the last time I ate? 7 o'clock last night. Going on 2 o'clock.
Well, now it's affecting your mental health, your performance on the air.
Absolutely.
Now advertisers are going to get upset.
There you go. All of it.
All because someone couldn't clean up after themselves.
The station might end up just going dark now, is what might end up having. Here was a controversial topic. So, remember I brought up Baker Mayfield? I saw a story about what he might be getting, and I thought, nobody signed him to that deal. They haven't yet. It's an analysis done by Jeff Howe for The Athletic. It says Baker Mayfield is due for a new contract, one that could redefine the quarterback market. And as we've talked about before, Tenneby, every single player, regardless of the position, always signs for the most money ever at the right. Remember the wide receiver one?
Yeah.
They were all kind of waiting for, it was Jamar Chase, it was Justin Jefferson,
CeeDee Lamb,
and a couple of. They're all kind of waiting for the other guy so they can have bragging rights and say, I signed for more than the other. And it was only $1 million more a year, but there was a pecking order, right? So it happens in all of the. But Baker Mayfield's 3-year, $100 million deal expires March of 2027. Expires. So they're not sure what he'll sign for, but they know that when he does, it is going to break the record. But what I found more interesting in this story is says compensation for quarterbacks has exploded in recent years, often outpacing the rapidly expanding salary cap. Mayfield's next long-term contract provides a unique set of challenges. When it lands, it will be a seminal moment in the way teams value extended act quarterbacks. At $33.3 million per year, Mayfield is the league's 16th highest paid quarterback. He was 19th until Tua, Kyle Murphy, and Kirk Cousins were all released earlier this month. Malik Willis, who just launched his extended act with the Dolphins, and KC backup Justin Fields are the only quarterbacks earning less than Mayfield while still exceeding those on the rookie wage scale. Quarterback and team have publicly stated their desire to remain together beyond this contract, and both sides have earmarked this offseason as the time to get that extension done. The Athletics' recent studies have shown teams are struggling to adapt to the era of the $50 million quarterback. The salary cap's explosion to $301.2 million will begin to curb the toll of the extravagant cost. As a way to measure the impact of such a salary, here's what it says. A contract worth $50 million annually in 2026 would consume 16.6% of the cap. That would have been the 12th highest among quarterbacks in 2025 and 15th in both 2023, which was the first season in history with multiple quarterbacks earning north of $50 million in 2024. So think about that, Tenneby. A contract worth $50 million annually in 2026 will consume 16.6% of the salary cap. That's just for your quarterback. Mm-hmm. And then if you have...
Better have a good quarterback.
And then if you've got I got one of the best wide receivers in pro football. Oh, and we got one of the best edge rushers in pro football. You're talking about 50, 60, 70% of your salary cap being eaten up by a handful of players. And that's why that salary cap is going up exponentially. And exponentially, is that the right word?
Exponentially?
Exponentially, however it's pronounced. And that's why I think it needs to be that way. But
well, then you wonder why they can't get anything to surround.
Well, that's it.
Burrow and Jamar Chase in Cincinnati.
That's exactly what it is. You can't, because too much money is being eaten up by one player. We'll take a break, come back, another hour to go.
I'm going to go check out that microwave.
Why
I'm going to do some investigating.
You do that, and then we'll get back into that and other controversial topics on the Common Man program here on the Fan.